In this video, you're going to master the past tense in Spanish. And mastering the past tense is a crucial step to becoming conversationally fluent in any language. But why is it so important to review the past tense again and again in Spanish? Well, unlike English, Spanish has two frequently used past tenses. And these two tenses are called the preterit, sometimes known as the simple past, and the imperfect. Now, many students wrongly assume that all you really need in Spanish is the simple past or the preterit, but that's not true at all. So get ready, because in just 5 minutes, give or take, you're going to know exactly when and how to use the imperfect and the preterit past tenses in Spanish. So let's get started by talking about actions. Now, here are the basic rules. The preterit is just for one action in the past, whereas the imperfect is for routines in the past or things that happened over a long period of time. So let's imagine that you want to say in Spanish, I ate at 7 o'clock. I ate at 7 o'clock. Now, this is obviously in the past tense, but how do you say that in Spanish? Well, it depends. Let's draw it out to make it clear. Our purple line here is the past. Imagine time passing along this purple line. Here, the X here on this purple line, this is a specific action in the past. So, for example, ayer comí a las 7 de la noche. Yesterday, I ate at 7 o'clock. Now, our thick red arrow here is the routine action, the one that we did on many occasions. Antes comía a las 7 de la noche. So here in this case, you clearly mean to say, I used to eat at 7 o'clock. In contrast, if you say yesterday, specifically, I ate at 7 o'clock yesterday, it's different because it only happened once. And so there you would say, ayer comí a las 7 de la noche. So you can see how it wouldn't make very much sense to say antes, meaning, in a period of time in the past, comí a las 7 de la noche. Doesn't make sense. In that case, you would need to use the imperfect. Otherwise, you're just indicating one specific time that you ate. Okay, so that's not too difficult, right? Now, let's look at another case where we can use both of these past tenses together. And this is going to happen when you have one long action that's occurring over a period of time and another short action that interrupts it. Okay, so in this case, we're going to have the imperfect for showing a long, let's call it a background action. And then the preterit is going to jump in and suddenly interrupt what's going on. Like, for example, in this sentence. Mientras Camilo caminaba a la escuela, empezó a llover. Mientras Camilo caminaba a la escuela, empezó a llover. Okay, let's draw this out. The X here shows the specific action that interrupts the background action. So the X in this case is in the preterit, and it's used to say empezó a llover. It suddenly started raining. Now, the imperfect is used for our background action, which in this example is mientras Camilo caminaba a la escuela. So our walking action, which is taking time, is interrupted suddenly by the started to rain action. The background action is something that sets up the scene. Camilo was walking, Camilo caminaba, and then another specific action occurs. It started to rain. Empezó a llover. Now, how do we put this into practice? How can we easily remember whether to use the preterit or the imperfect when talking to people about events in the past? Well, there's a useful trick here which involves palabras claves, or key words. You see, there are many words that tend to be used to talk about certain kinds of actions in the past. So what you can actually do is link up in your mind these keywords with either the imperfect or the preterit. It's a big help in conversation. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. So the following words, when you use them, tend to talk about the preterit, so specific events in the past. Ayer, anoche, anteayer, el año pasado, la semana pasada, una vez, hace una semana, hace un año. Can you see how these words are all describing specific points in the past? That's why we use the preterit. In contrast, when you say these words, you're going to need the imperfect. Antes, muchas veces, mientras, siempre, todos los días. So let's see another contrast using these keywords. Have a look at this sentence. Siempre mi abuela me enseñaba a cocinar, pero desafortunadamente solo pude cocinar para ella una vez. So my grandmother teaching me how to cook is something I always did with her. Okay? It's something that she did with me more than once. But sadly, I could only cook for her once. And this is the one specific action. Okay? I just cooked for her only once. Siempre mi abuela me enseñaba a cocinar, pero desafortunadamente solo pude cocinar para ella una vez. Can you see how these two verbs are functioning differently there? Now, what happens if we don't have any clear keywords, like in this example? Miguel conocía a Emilia en la universidad, eran del mismo pueblo y después de graduarse se hicieron novios. So you might like to pause the video and just have a look at this sentence and take it in. And then ask yourself, why would this sentence have conocía here? Why is conocía in the imperfect? Well, let's think about this verb conocer, which means to meet. And you might realize that there are two ways you can use this verb. Conocer can mean both to know somebody, but also to meet them for the first time. Now, if we were going to use this verb, conocer, in the preterit, in other words, happening just once, then it would mean Miguel met Emilia in university. The idea of meeting someone is a one-time thing, right? A specific action. So that's one possibility. Alternatively, you might want to give the impression that it wasn't just that one time that they met, but they knew each other for a long period of time. And in that case, you might choose to use conocía, the imperfect, to give the impression that Miguel knew Emilia in university for all the time, the many years that they were there. Okay, next, what about eran or fueron? Well, Miguel and Emilia were from the same town, okay? So is that one simple action in the past? No, it's not. It's a description that continues in the past. It's something that was true for a long period of time with no defined start or end points. That's why we clearly use the imperfect in that situation. Lastly, se hicieron novios. This uses the preterit to indicate that at a specific moment they became a couple. Se hicieron novios. This has a clear starting point to it and it is a very specific action. Now, to wrap up, let's look at our timeline drawings again so that we can see this very clearly. We can use the imperfect past when we are talking about routines or background actions with undefined start or end points. Okay, like in our last example. Miguel conocía a Emilia en la universidad, eran del mismo pueblo. But when we have a specific action with a defined start or end point, we use the preterit. Después de graduarse, se hicieron novios. Bueno, ¿entendiste mejor? My best tip for getting used to the past tenses is to read and listen a lot. And the material we have in the Fluent Spanish Academy is perfect for this. While you do so, while you're listening and reading, always be paying active attention to which tense is being used in the Spanish that you're reading. That will help you quickly get used to the difference in the concepts. And before you know it, it'll be second nature. So let us know how it goes. Leave a comment below y déjanos saber.
I hope you enjoyed this grammar lesson. Now, to download the full notes for this lesson, please click the link in the video description below, and that will take you to a page where you can sign up for our Spanish Vault and get free access to that and lots of other stuff. Now, if you'd like to test yourself on this grammar point, then check out the next video where we have a little quiz prepared for you. Otherwise, please subscribe to the channel y nos vemos en el próximo.